Hello, my loves. This message could not wait. So you're getting me a little raw today. Um, but I talked about in the June energy forecast how the first half of June, there could be some confusion. And if you are out of alignment in any relationship or anything in your life, that with Jupiter moving into its exaltation, the place where it's at best, it's going to expand everything. It's going to expand the really good and it's going to expand the really bad. It's going to become really big to where you can no longer ignore it. And I don't know about you guys, but over the last week and a half, between the solar activity and the amount of sheer plasma that's coming in, the astrological alignments that are super crazy and transformational, this energy has been like the Twilight Zone, like for real, the Twilight Zone. You don't know what's up or down. I've had on and off headaches. I have been super confused about things. Um, I have been feeling exhausted, yet not able to sleep at night because of the amount of downloads I'm getting, the amount of solar activity. And the biggest thing that we have to understand is collectively, we are going through this massive shift into a frequency that majority of us have never experienced to our knowledge, right? And each of us is also going through that same shift in our own timing because time doesn't exist. And we have been seeing that the time doesn't exist, right? The more we feel like time is flying by, the more we're starting to understand that time isn't real. It's a human construct. And what I want to remind you of is we're not moving through time, right? Like time isn't moving fast. Let me say that. Time isn't moving fast. It's that we are moving fast. Time is relative to the amount of information that we can receive. And we went from receiving 1 hour of information per 1 hour of human time to now we're receiving hundreds of thousands of hours of information at times per hour of human time. And that can be overwhelming. That can feel very anxious. That can be something that can make us, our mental and physical bodies feel completely out of sorts. It can make it difficult to sleep. It can make it feel difficult to be settled. And this is something that's been happening, honestly, since 2020, but really 2021 is when I started to really notice the acceleration. And that acceleration is relevant because it shows how much of the collective is moving into the higher frequencies. And there are times where I will reflect back on the week previous and it will feel like a whole lifetime was experienced in that week. And things that happened 5, 10, or years ago, let alone maybe 2 months ago, feels like forever ago. It feels like a whole nother world, a whole nother reality, a whole nother lifetime. And we also have to keep in mind that we individually are shifting timelines billions of times a day. Majority of those shifts are very minimal and they're hard to notice, but every internal decision that you make is going to shift your trajectory even just a little bit. And then there are days where you're going to wake up and you're going to be like, I don't know what timeline I'm on. Like you can feel you're a totally different person. The most annoying things for me in this, because I have been moving through timelines very consciously, having very different experiences of myself and my reality. And there'll be things that I know that I accomplished, or things that I know that I did, or something where I know I put something here, and then I'll wake up in a different timeline, and those things will either not have been done, or something that was sitting on my desk the night before is completely gone. It has been, like I said, it has been like the Twilight Zone. And then, we see this peak of this energy that we're currently in today. Today is the peak, as I record this on June 17th, of this intense energy with this Uranus conjunction. I have Scorpio. Uranus is in Scorpio for me, and Scorpio is the one of the most intense planets. It's one that is an extremist. It is death and rebirth. And boy, have I been feeling that. But we're seeing Uranus as the great liberator. And so we're seeing these volcanic explosions, right? Whether it's actually volcanoes exploding, chaotic weather, or if it's, wars. Um, and so I urge you to be mindful about how much you tap into the collective. And in my Evolve membership, a lot of my students have, or a lot of my community members have been telling me how they've been kind of withdrawing from the collective. And that's the very best thing that you can do in intense times, especially if you aren't someone who has mastered energetic boundaries and can really feel the separation between you and the collective and know when you're starting to absorb all of that fear and negativity, and explosive energy, and be able to shift your frequency back out of it. And so if that's something, I think that's something that we're all continuously working through. But if that's not something that you have a good handle on, I would definitely stay out of the collective energy. And that sometimes requires us to spend less time on social media, not watch the news, or sources that give you the news. And just getting, tidbits here and there, but not immersing yourself and getting wrapped up in the story of what's happening. But this week, as each day passes, we will start to find more and more clarity. We will start to feel the energy calming. It doesn't mean we still won't have in periods of intensity with the sun. The sun is powering us in a way that we've never had, it never has before in this life. The codes that are coming in, even the sun on my skin feels different. It's such an interesting shift of how powerful our sun is becoming. And I believe, from what I've received, that is a direct reflection of how open we are each, more than we were before, right? And what do I mean by open? More self-aware, more sensitive. Our hearts are more open. We're more open to change. We're more open to receiving. We're more awakened, which just means you're more self-aware. And so the more of us who awaken and open ourselves up to ourselves and to our awareness, the more of an impact we will feel from the sun, because the sun really does power us. It communicates with us. It helps us to regulate. It helps us to activate our DNA. It helps us to remember who we are in our divine essence. And so I just felt really, really compelled to come on here and just say that if you've been going through it, if you have felt like your world's kind of upside down, we are in the precipice of such a huge shift. And collectively, this shift is going to take some time, right? Uh, each month that passes, we see dramatic shifts and changes. But over the next few years, it's just going to continue to, the world is going to continue to be revealed to us, and purge what it needs to purge so that it can truly be what we wanted it to be, what it was meant to be. And that's what we're each individually going through. I talked about this on my podcast that drops, on the 18th. But the last few months I've been going through a massive identity shift, and it's just been this peeling off and stripping back of the masks and programs and perceptions of other people that I have carried and wore and felt like I had to be, and instead stepping into me being authentically who I am, from going back to more of my natural color of hair, of the dirty blonde, to just unapologetically owning who I am, accepting who I am in every moment, living my life very multidimensionally, really melding all the versions of me into, one individual, instead of feeling like I constantly have to shift gears between people. It's been a beautiful, humbling, grieving experience. And that's part of this massive shift, is us stepping into our authenticity, which is our highest frequency, choosing to step into vulnerability, choosing to really lead with your heart open, and be who you truly are, without the shame and the stories that can sometimes play games in our mind. And so as we move forward, there's going to be a momentum of energy building in each of us. And I caution you, embrace that energy, embrace that motivation, embrace that excitement, but also don't go balls to the wall because, you can sometimes as we go through these shifts, we get this boost. And if you take the boost all at once, then it can burn you out, right? And so get excited, get motivated, feel the energy shift when it comes, but pace yourself and never forget to choose yourself, to put rest as a priority, to put your needs as a priority over serving the world because cars don't operate, without battery power or, being charged or gasoline. So you and me, we operate in the same function. We have to fuel ourselves. We have to be in that space. So make sure that you're honoring that for yourself. But the energy is going to get better. Again, we will still have solar impacts that will create periods of intensity, but we're starting to move into now the calmer time of June that will bleed into July. And I really feel like the overall summer looks um, pretty nice. Again, nothing's ever going to be without intensity, but that intensity and how you experience it is up to you, and your ability to surrender to and your ability to learn from it, and move forward, regardless of it, right? And not allowing it to derail your life or to mean something about you. So I just felt really called to pop on and share that with you. And I hope that you guys can take that message to heart and feel that whatever it is you're going through, it's happening for you, even if you can't see why right now. Um, and I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next video.